I can tell you an example and a couple examples in Vietnam real quick. One is Ranger Joe is a lieutenant, and his family is a good friend of mine. He lives out there in Florida, and I lived in Raxley, which is real close at the time. And he was signed as a lieutenant in my battalion. Okay, and we nicknamed him Ranger Joe because he went through OCS, went through Ranger School. He was only 21 years old, okay? And I might have told you the story, but then stop. But anyway, his mom, Miss Greenwell, came over and talked to my wife and said that she hadn't heard anything from Joe Greenwell. He's not writing home or doing anything. So she wrote me and told me that Miss Greenwell had been over there, and he was from a real strong Catholic family, and his brother still living, this Dr. Greenwell in Eatown, Kentucky, and of course his sisters and all. I think it was about 10 of them in the family, with all nurses and stuff, and he had a couple brothers that was in the military, and even Dr. Greenwell served a tour with the Navy as a doctor.
Sure.
And then but anyway, Joe Greenwell, when I got the letter, I told him, I says, you're not writing home. I said, to your mom. I said, she's worried. She went over into my house and said so. I said, you need to start writing home. I said, so, I said, you being a lieutenant, I said, you supposed to be leading your men, and the hell you're not even communicating with your family. And then we had a radio station at the arcade, that's a ham station, that you could try to put a phone call through. So we were back R&R resting for 2 or 3 days, so I told Greenwell, so come with me, let's go over to the station and make a call to your mom and dad. I said, I'm gonna make one. So we both went over there, took the Jeep, went over there, and about a mile away, and there's a lot of people trying to get through, so you have to put your name and wait your turn. So anyway, they called me, they got through. So we made contact with somebody here that phoned into Ratcliffe. So I talked to Lovey for a while, and then they hadn't called Greenwell yet. So I told them, I said, you wait here, and I said, they'll call you shortly. I just talked to my wife. I said, when they get through, I said, very shortly. Excuse me. So anyway, I went back over to the camp, where we were, and hell, Greenwell got back before I did. I bummed a ride in a Jeep with somebody else. I left him with my Jeep.
Yeah.
Okay. And hell, I got back and I saw the Jeep, I says, we had the Jeep get back here, and they said, well, Lieutenant Greenwell brought it back. So I went over to him, he was right close to me. I said, you talked to your parents? He said, no, they never really called me. I said, you had to leave the same time I did.
Yeah. For him to get there
I
before
said, hey, you meet me here, I think.
So he didn't
Yeah.
basically didn't
And
bother to wait.
I says, get back in the Jeep and let's go. So we went over there, and as soon as we got there, we was there 2 minutes, they called his name. And he talked to his mom and dad. Okay, then he started writing and everything. Well, the discipline there was lack of him being young and being a gung-ho and being aggressive. So we were on an ambush, and it was just before dark, and we can put 3 platoons out in 3 different ambushes, break the company down to 3 areas. And we'd stop to eat because we had C rations. And when you smoke, you can smell the Vietnamese when they cook the rice and shit a mile away. When you smoke a cigarette, they can smell that too.
Right.
And besides that, when you open your cans up, you make noise, with your cans. You eat and instead of you throwing the damn things all over the place, and they can hear that. So we stopped before we got to ambush sites, so everybody could eat and check everything ready to go, and move into position just before dark, you know, under cover of darkness.
Is this a rapid patrol or an infantry?
No, this was a regular recon force, a company-sized unit, okay? So we did that, and so anyway, I'd say about 30 minutes later, we had all kinds of weapons firefights going on. So we called, he was in November platoon, so we called the platoon and didn't get no answer. So I told Rodriguez, who was the captain, I said, I'll go up and see what's going on, because the platoon was in front of us, and we were with the command group. So I walked up and couldn't find no squad leaders, couldn't find a platoon sergeant, and couldn't find Greenwell. And I asked him, I said, where the hell is Lieutenant Greenwell and everybody? I asked the medic.
Company in.
Yeah, I said, where's the radio operator? He said, he said, the lieutenant decided he was going to go up and recon his area that we was going to ambush in for that platoon. So that was against all kinds of rules of engagement. So he took his radio operators and the squad leaders only, say, and the platoon sergeant. So he had about 6, 7 people and himself, and went up to recon the area, and he walked into an ambush.
Wow.
And he got hit in the chest and everything. When I got there, one of the squad leaders had tried to get him out, and he got killed. Okay. Greenwell was still living, but he was in front of a bunker, and they was just letting him lay there because they knew we'd try to get him out. So it took about 25, 30 minutes to get a grappling hook. And what that is, you know what an anchor on a boat is?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what it is. It's an anchor, but it's made of aluminum, so it's not heavy like metal.
Yeah.
It's real light. We got a rope on it. So I finally got one of them brought up and took and kept throwing it out and hooked him in his web gear. So the way you get him back, you couldn't run over. We had one guy already killed. So when we hooked him, we got 2 or 3 people, and we started pulling him back. When we did, we set off CS grenade and smoke grenade he had on his web gear.
Oh,
We
wow.
set him off by putting him through the logs and, you know, brush and shit. We got him over there, and he was bleeding, and his chest, we tried to give him, we tried to make him, he stopped breathing a couple of times. We tried to get him started again by pressing his chest. He didn't have nothing left. He'd been hitting the chest, all caved in. Just like hitting take that table thing and push down, soft.
Wow.
So I tried it 2 or 3 times. So I give him mouth to mouth a couple times, and of course he was puking, and that didn't matter. So, but anyway, the only thing he said to me was he didn't want to die. He said, I don't want to die. He's 21 years old. But he died, okay. So we got a medical back to ship him and the bodies back and any wounded we had. I went back with him, you know, with the chopper, and they unloaded them, and they have a tent, a MASH tent here, which is a hospital, right next to it. They have the small tent. It's concrete floor with a tent over. So the doctor would be outside, and they'd examine you. If you hadn't a life left, you go in there, emergency. Right. If you didn't have any life, you point over there. See? So he sent Greenwell over there, and I just waited till, you know, everybody that we brought back, 5 or 6 people, got in there, and they sent Greenwell and that squad leader over to the other one, which was right hooked to it. So I went in there, and Greenwell, they had him laying on the floor. They had tables, but they had him on the floor. And I asked him, I said, why is he laying on the floor? I said, well, we'll get him on the table. I said, we'll do it now. I said, get him off the floor, get him on the table now.
Right.
So they did. They picked him up and put him up there. Well, so I didn't go back out to the field that night. I went over to my hooch over there, you know, and I sat down and wrote a letter to Lovey and mailed it, it's free mailing, and told her that Greenwell was dead. I said, real sad. I said, I'm crying. It's hard for me to explain to you, but he's dead. I said, you know, the Army policy, if his parents don't know it, you can't tell them. I said, it's against Army regulations. Well, Miss Greenwell got a telegram from the Army saying he was missing in action. Okay, that's all she was notified, was missing in action, MIA. So she came over to our house and asked Lovey if she knew anything. Well, she ain't got the mail. Believe it or not, this mail got from Vietnam there in about 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah. But she hadn't got it in the mail. She said, no, I didn't get no mail today. She said, well, Joe Greenwell, my son, is missing in action. And I'm sure, I know he's with Ray. I wondered if he said anything. She said, no, I haven't got no mail from him. She said, well, if you don't mind, can I check with you when your mail comes every day? I'll come over here. And Lovey said, yeah. So the next day she gets my letter, okay. Miss Greenwell came over. She had already opened the letter and read it, and she wanted to know if she knew anything. And Lovey says, I didn't get no mail. Okay. As soon as she left, she called Dr. Greenwell.
Yeah.
Dr. Greenwell's wife was a nurse in his office, okay. And she said, I need to talk to Dr. Greenwell. And she says, what it's about? She said, I got some bad news for him. I need to tell him. And she said, well, okay. And she was a little rude over it, you know. So anyway, Dr. Greenwell come on the phone and she says, you know, told me, said, this is Lovey's Cottrell. I'm Ray Cottrell's wife. And I got a letter from him a while ago, and your mom and dad just left here. And your brother's dead.
But she,
told him, well, he got upset over it. He told her, he said, you're not supposed to tell me that.
right.
And she said, I know, but I had to tell somebody.
Yeah. And you couldn't tell it to his parents directly.
Right? No, you couldn't.
Right.
You know, supposed to tell him.
Oh, really?
It's the Army's job to notify you, not something about somebody with somebody, you
Yeah,
know.
I can appreciate
So
that.
anyway, Dr. Greenwell left his office and went out to where his mom and dad lived. They had a little farm out here in Florida. So he arrived there. He no sooner pulled up in the driveway, and guess what pulled in behind him?
Mommy?
The Army sedan with a chaplain and a captain.
Yeah.
They come in to inform her that her son was killed in
So
action.
he didn't have to say it anyway.
Yeah, but the lucky thing, the doctor was there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I came back with his body, got his body and buried him. Okay, after the funeral and all was over, they asked me and Love if we'd come to the house, eat dinner with the entire family, and this is a big family.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Catholic thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big family, so we said, okay. So we went over there, and the first thing that happened is she told Lovey, she says, come in here a minute. She said, you know Dr. Greenwell? She says, no. She says, I know he's Joe's brother. Says, I talked to him on the phone. She says, he wants to apologize for being rude to you. She made him do that. Miss Greenwell did.
Yeah.
They didn't fool with Catholics. The parents are in charge.
Right.
Hell, he must have been 35 years old, but she made him apologize.
Yeah.
So then we sit at the table, and it was the first time it ever happened to me. When we got ready to eat, she says, we want to ask the Sergeant Major to say the grace. That scared the hell out of me. I've never said it to a group. Said to myself, you know, and the wife, you know, and kids, but never to a group, 25, 30 people. And I didn't know what the hell to do.
You did all that teaching.
But I did all right, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I would have faith in you.
Yeah, I did all right there. And
You said that was a
yeah.
scary moment, though.
And
right?
that was, lack of discipline he asked me about. He should have never done that. He wouldn't have died. Maybe he wouldn't have died, and his squad leader wouldn't have died. But the whole platoon would have been ambushed, the same as that squad, same as the 5 or 6 people. They were in ambush 35, 40 when they got up there.
Speaking of that,
Right.
I'll do this one more time to make sure we got this on tape. You say before to me on my notes, you have a mission, and that's job 1.
Right.
The job 1A, and I'll let you finish that off.
Is looking out for the welfare of your people.
Yeah.
You don't segregate. You have to carry on order, but at the same time, you look out for the welfare of your people. Because I'll give you a good example that nobody will like to hear. I'll tell you that now. Okay. When we were in the Korean War, okay, that's the first example. General MacArthur and the G2, the intelligence, told everybody that the Chinese was building up